welcome to Ridiculous. I hope you're doing well wherever you're in the world. I hope you're living your best life. I never thought I would be on the sending end of something like this, but here I am. I have been married for 11 years. My husband is an amazing man, and we have one boy and one girl. Our marriage has had its ups and downs, just like any other marriage. 2 years ago, I went through a deep depression. I got laid off, and my mother passed away. At the time, my husband was working 14 to 18 hours a day just to keep food on the table. It took me about 6 months before I tried to get help and went to therapy. I resented my husband a lot during this time. Part of the reason was because he was working too much and I was left to take care of the children while dealing with my emotional issues. Also, he made it seem like my depression was something I could just turn on and off like a light bulb. He said he cared for me, but I never felt it during this time. He made me feel very alone. To make matters worse, I suspected my husband of cheating with a woman from his job. He would text her at all times of the day, and he stayed very close with his phone. I managed to check his phone one day, but I couldn't find anything pointing to a sexual relationship. It was just mostly friendly stuff about work and family. I told my husband that I wanted to meet her, but he wouldn't let me. He said that he should have friends just like I did. This made me feel worse, and I kept having a hunch that he was sleeping with this woman. After many months of therapy and Zenlafacine, I started to feel better. I started to get out of the house more and talk to my old friends more. My husband stayed the same. He was still an amazing husband and father. He worked his butt off, but he still talked to that woman. When I looked back on the days during depression, I felt betrayed, and I just felt that he cheated on me. I started to lose weight and became more active. I felt alive again. Guys at the gym would hit on me, and I would catch glares from guys at the store. This made my husband jealous, but I didn't care. I knew that I hadn't done anything wrong, and I know I was unhappy with his friendship with the woman at work. My husband has an old friend named Matt. He recently moved from Michigan to where I live. He found the job down here that he wanted to take. My husband was very excited that he was moving down here since that was his old high school friend. We met Matt at the airport and took him to dinner. I have to admit that he was quite a charmer. I figured that anyone that hung out with my husband in high school must have been a dork. I'm not putting my husband down, but he was really a nerd back in those days. Matt was actually the polar opposite of him. Anyway, Matt was pretty hot when I met him. To make matters worse, he complimented me and told me I was beautiful. Matt began work and began to hang out with my husband on weekends since he didn't have many friends. We also became friends, and I would talk to him when he came to the house. He would flirt a lot with me, but I always shut him down. There was one day when Matt came over for a few hours since they were cleaning the carpet at his apartment. The kids were with my mother, and me and my husband were supposed to go out to dinner. Since Matt had no place to go, he was going to tag along. Before we could leave, my husband got called into work. One of the other leads was sick, so he had to fill in. Me and Matt were already up, so we just chatted on the couch. We must have talked for around 2 hours. He kept complimenting me and making me feel so good. In fact, it was years since a man made me feel as good as he did. We got closer and closer that night, and he eventually kissed me. I did not push him away, although I wish I would have. We ended up having sex there in our living room. It was like we were both caught up in the moment and didn't realize what was happening. That moment didn't end until recently. I've been seeing Matt off and on for the past 8 months. I've had enough respect for my family that we never again had sex in our home. I would either go to his apartment or we would get a hotel. I justify my infidelity because I fooled myself into thinking that my husband was really cheating on me with that other woman. A couple of weeks ago, my husband was out at a club with Matt. I don't know the exact details, but somehow my husband went through his phone and found text messages from me as well as nude pictures. My husband got in a fight with Matt and left him at the club. He came home and confronted me, and I denied everything. The first thing that came to mind was to lie since I never set out to hurt him. My husband left and called Matt. Matt told him every single detail about our relationship. He told him everything down to the day it started. At that point, I had no choice but to come clean about what I did. Now it's too late. My husband has moved out and wants a divorce. I've been sitting here replaying this in my head and I really feel like shit. I've been falling back into depression and I feel that I have no place to turn to. He doesn't want to reconcile and he doesn't want counseling. He just wants divorce. My kids don't understand what's going on yet, but soon they will find out. What can I tell my husband to convince him to give our marriage another chance? I apologize for cheating and lying, but he acts like he doesn't care. How could it be that he could just turn on a dime and walk out on us after 11 years of marriage? I've humbled myself and I would do absolutely anything to have him back. I realize now that I had a good thing at home and I should have never cheated. He has agreed to meet me on Tuesday morning for lunch and we can talk then. What should I say to him? I know that if I can get him to understand that I'm truly sorry, I should have a chance to win him back, right?